I'd like to just reiterate that Bulbul's not a horror film. It is a fairy tale, a fable. It's a supernatural mystery.
That story that जो बचपन में हमें दादा दादी सुनाते थे या बचपन में हमें अपने मम्मी पापा सुनाते थे, और मुझे लगता है कि in today's time we are surrounded by stories, और सिर्फ यहाँ की स्टोरी नहीं, because digitalization की वजह से पूरी दुनिया की स्टोरीज हमें पता है, और इन स्टोरीज के बीच में रहते हुए हम वो अपनी पहली स्टोरी मुझे लगता है भूल गए.
Wrapped in lore, intrigue, and mystery, welcoming Anvita Dutt and Tripti Dimri for their Netflix film Bulbul. Welcome to Peeping Moon, you two.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us here, Ashita.
You're most welcome. Okay, so firstly tell me, when Anushka Sharma introduced Bulbul on her page, she called it a fantastic tale of self-discovery and justice. So tell me something more about it, because the description is so interesting. The first look is so intriguing.
So, Rashida, actually, it's like, those childhood, we used to listen to those stories that our grandmothers told us. Summer holidays में सब cousins को साथ बिठा के we would hear those stories. Once that always started with बहुत समय पहले की बात है, and then there would be a story about either a tree where you're not supposed to go at night under that tree or sleep under that tree, or that house that you're not. So all these cautionary tales that there's something lurking in the woods kind of a story. So this is that kind of a story. Okay. It's a supernatural mystery. It's a fantastical tale, like a fairy tale. And it's just a fun ride.
Okay. And Tripti, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, and in fact, when I had the narration from Anvita for the first time, the most interesting part for me was this only, that it is that story that जो बचपन में हमें दादा दादी सुनाते थे या बचपन में हमें अपने मम्मी पापा सुनाते थे, और मुझे लगता है कि in today's time we are surrounded by stories, और सिर्फ यहाँ की स्टोरी नहीं, because digitalization की वजह से पूरी दुनिया की स्टोरीज हमें पता है, और इन स्टोरीज के बीच में रहते हुए हम वो अपनी पहली स्टोरी मुझे लगता है भूल गए. तो ये एक ऐसी फिल्म है जो आपको अपनी पहली स्टोरी की याद दिलाएगी, and it will definitely take you back to your childhood. So yeah, that for me was very
and I think I think even the people who were on Twitter, when they saw the motion poster, they were so quick to realize what you all just said. I actually was going through, they were like, अरे ये तो हमारे बचपन की कहानी है, आज रात को नींद नहीं आएगी, ये वही पोस्टर है. So did you think while making it or while being a part of it that people will be able to relate to it so soon, like with just the first look of it?
I mean, you're always optimistic and you hope that happens, because dekha jaye to it's that image, that part about the feet is so small. It's in shadow and it's so small, but people noticed it, and that made us so happy, because the poster, what you see in the poster is actually a part of the film. It's a clip from the film. So that kind of a thing for people to engage and recognize the fact that it's got that little eerie, mysterious quality that their childhood stories had, is fantastic. That is actually more than what we expected. We expected, yes, there's interest and there's a new film coming, but for them to engage with it like that, that's an ideal situation. So it's made us really happy.
Okay, and Tripti?
Yeah, for me too. I mean, people were sending me a lot of messages. Some were like, "Oh, is this you? Do you have like Ulta Pair in this film?" But I know at this point I can't really talk about it, and I'm happy that people are intrigued by the teaser, and tomorrow or maybe in a day or two our trailer will be out, and I'm just hoping that they like the film. I just can't wait for them to watch the final product and share their thoughts on the film with us, because I think all of us have we've done our best, we've given it our 100%, and we just want people to watch the film and to like it. So just can't wait for 24th of June.
Okay. And Tripti, tell me something. After Laila Majnu, which was like a love story, you are a part of this film Bulbul. So how did you come on board, and what were the thoughts in your mind that after a love story you're doing a genre which is not as much explored as other genres in Bollywood?
So I auditioned for this one. Post Laila Majnu, there was a long break. I mean, I didn't do anything for almost a year, and I won't say that I wasn't given opportunities. There were a couple of projects that came my way, but nothing was interesting. And I think as an actor, if you're not, agreeing to the script or agreeing to the story, then there's no point doing it, because then that way you're just wasting your time and the maker's time. So there's no point. And I was actually waiting for an interesting script like Bulbul and an interesting character like Bulbul, because I've heard people say that first your real struggle begins after your first film. Your second film decides whether you'll be staying in the industry or not, and you have to climb that stair up. You can't just take one step down. You have to either be on the same level or do something better than that, something that can teach you and something that can improve your acting skills. And Bulbul is exactly that. So I auditioned for it. काफ़ी टाइम लगा जवाब आने में वापस. I got a call from casting bay and they'd given me just one scene for that audition, and at that point I didn't think it'd be such an interesting part because उस time कुछ पता ही नहीं था story के बारे में. फिर 2 दिन बाद I again got a call from them and they said the director wants to meet you now, go meet her, and then I think she's liked your audition and she'd like to test you again for it. So I went and met Anvita, and then she narrated the story to me for the first time and explained Bulbul's character to me. And the minute I heard it, I was like, wow, I want to do it. And I immediately wanted to start shooting for it. But she wanted to test me first, obviously, for it. And she said, I just want you to have a little bit of a background of Bulbul and her story before testing you for it. So I said, okay. Then the next day we tested for it. She'd given me this very beautiful scene that's there between Bulbul and her husband in the film. We did that, and I think it went well, but then there was no call from the production house for 2 weeks, and then I was getting very anxious because I really wanted the part and I really wanted to do it. So I remember texting this casting guy again, and then I was like, listen, even if I don't get it, just let me know, because I really want to do it, and मुझे लटक के नहीं रहना, please मुझे बता देना. He's like, okay, I'll let you know, don't worry. But then luckily I was I think I was in Uttarakhand at some award function, and I was, attending that award function. I was going to go on stage, and that's the moment I got a call from Anvita, and I'd saved her number as Bulbul's director at that point in time, and I picked it up, and she said, "Hi, Bulbul," and that's how she wrote the note to me. So I got super excited, and since then it's been a very wonderful journey. Working on this film has been a great learning experience for me. All my co-actors in the film, Rahul sir, Avinash, Param, Pauli, are amazing actors, and when you're acting with people who are such great actors, who are such intelligent actors, then you don't have to put in a lot of efforts. You just feel like you're having a conversation with them and not really acting. And Anvita ke saath bhi it was just like that. I think first day se hi Anvita was in my team. We were one team. People used to joke around on the set saying that she's adopted you, that you're her adopted child. But that's exactly how she made me feel. She took really great care of me on the sets. And I think, this was a difficult film to shoot. This was a difficult character. But I think these people just made it easy for me.
Okay, that's great. And Anvita, what about you? How has your journey been directing it? Has it been a little challenging or a smooth ride for you?
For me, it's been magical. I wrote this script some time ago, and everything happened. It happened magically. Karnesh Sharma read the script. At that point in time, he was not even a producer, but he read the script and he loved it so much. He said that when I turn producer, I want to make this film. Then Anushka read it and she was equally excited, and she said, we are totally producing this film. And then it got greenlit when Netflix came on board, and they were excited about the film. And then I got my actors. I auditioned Tripti, Avinash. Rahul came on board, which is such a boon. Then I got Param, who is just absolutely delightful. When you see the film, you'll see how wonderful he is. And he's also a friend. He's done a film for Clean Slate before. I'd done dialogues and lyrics for Pari, and he was in it. And he had actually read Bulbul then just as a friend to give feedback, because he gave me a script of his to read for feedback. So he said, there has to be a barter. You also have to give me a script to read so I can give you feedback. So I gave him Bulbul to read, and he loved it. So So then about a year or so later, when he got a very official message from Clean Slate that we would like to ask you if you'd be interested in doing this film called Bulbul, and he just called up and said, he said, hey, I just got this message. Yes. I said, yes, what? He said, yes, I'm doing it. I said, do you want to know which part? He said, I don't care. I just want to do this film.
Oh.
And then Pauli came on board, who was from day one so committed and so wonderful. She was like a little girl who was excited to be in this film. And then I have producers like Ganesh and Anushka who have believed in the film from the day that literally almost a week after I had written it, they'd read it as friends.
From the scratch,
So from the scratch. So how can it not be magical? So for me, making the film was an extension of writing the film. I'd imagined it, I'd lived with it for years. I knew what I wanted, and I got the team around me, from the producers to the actors to my HODs, from my DOP, production designer. Everybody was equally happy and in love with the material and with the vision. So they just made it, for me, it was like living a dream. So it wasn't challenging, it was just joy.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, so Anushka also produced a show that recently released, and it garnered so much love that once the announcement of Bulbul was made, people automatically started expecting a lot from the film as well. That it's going to be very good, and there were like hashtags trending on Twitter. Do you think the expectation has kind of increased even more now? And is it a little bit like, does it make you nervous?
Actually, it doesn't make me nervous, it makes me really happy. First of all, when Paatal Lok did so well, it made me really happy because these are my friends, and my friends first, and then my producers. And anything that they do, the stories that they choose are always so interesting. So for their story to get love, and Sudeep, who's created the Paatal Lok, is also a very, very close friend. So for me, it was just, I celebrated with them that this is amazing. So the fact that Bulbul is coming after that, and there might be expectation or interest, well, I look at it more than expectation, that there's interest, that people know that here are producers who believe in great stories, and that's exciting for me because I think it's a positive thing for my film that Paatal Lok did so well. So anything my producers do, to me, is a cause for celebration, and by association, I benefit from it. So it's lovely.
Okay, and Tripti, would you like to add to it?
Yeah. So there's no nervousness at all, just a lot of excitement. I mean, Anushka is a great actress, and I've always looked up to her as an actress, and she's a great inspiration for actors like me who are new to the industry. And as a producer, I think she and Karnesh both are doing a wonderful job. They're people who don't shy away from backing stories that they believe in, and they're people who don't shy away from giving roles to new people and giving opportunities to new people. And I believe the people who are not from the industry, they didn't have any godfather in the industry, and whatever they've achieved today, they are successful, and wherever they are, it's because of their hard work and their struggles. So I think when someone like that places their trust in you, then you better give your 200 to 300% to those people, and that's been our only motive. And I think we've all worked really, really hard on this film. I think we've all given it our 200%, and just there's hardly any nervousness, just a lot of excitement. I can't wait for people to watch it and just share their views on the film with us.
Okay, I'm sure people are also awaiting it, and there is definitely a lot of excitement. But Anvita, tell me something. That do you think the supernatural or the horror genre in our industry is not explored as much? Because whenever a maker tries to make it, there is always comparisons with the Hollywood standard without even taking into consideration the limitations that our industry faces, like the VFX or the technology or the budget. So what is your point of view on that?
So first of all, I'd like to just reiterate that Bulbul's not a horror film. It is a fairy tale, a fable. It's a supernatural mystery. So that said, I I think people engage with great stories, whatever the genre. So you could be telling a crime story or a fairy tale or horror, like you said, or a supernatural mystery, like I made. Um, it doesn't matter eventually, even if you shoot with the least amount of resources, if your story is good and if it's going to resonate with people, it will do well. It's nothing to do with the comparisons are drawn. Everyone has a right to their opinion. हम लोग सब नहीं करते. We hang out with our friends, we'll watch something, we'll talk about it. Of course, everybody
Yeah.
does that, but that's fine. It's people eventually watch great for. There's so many of our films which could be just slice of life dramas. There's nothing, no shosha going on over there, no VFX, no big budget things, but you're watching it and you're engaged and you're in love with the material because the story is great. And that's all that matters. You can make a film in 2 rupees and have special effects made at home in your oven, but it will work if the story is good.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And do you two think that web will now garner more attention, than cinemas, considering the condition that we are currently in? Cinemas are shut. Of course, web has been doing great since a long time, but do you think this lockdown and with cinemas being shut, it has given another opportunity to the web space? What is your view?
So the lockdown, of course, because there is a physical reason for not stepping out and going into the theaters. So obviously you are sitting at home and consuming material content on OTT. But having said that, regardless of lockdown or not, like I said, people engage with stories, with storytelling, and a good story will work whether it's on OTT or on in theaters. There are certain stories you would want to go and have that popcorn and watch it on that big screen, and you want to do that. But there are certain stories you'd be very happy sitting curled up in your kaftan with your feet tucked inside you and having your pakoda and your chai and watching it ghar pe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter, you're engaging with content. It doesn't matter what platform it is on.
Okay, and
Tripti?
Yeah, I think web was grabbing people's attention even before the lockdown. It's not something that has happened after the lockdown. Even before the lockdown, people, were very much into web. And I think, with web, what has happened for actors is that we now have a lot of opportunities to work. I think I've been here 3 years now in Bombay, and initially when I used to go for audition and I meet people, everybody would just be cribbing about not having work and people were very tense. But now when I go and meet the same people, they're very happy because they're all working. Somebody's doing a movie for either Z5 or Amazon or Netflix, or somebody's doing a web show for these platforms. So I think now as actors, I think it's the best time for us to be working in the industry because there's work. We can experiment with our craft now because we know that our audience is not limited. We know that our product is going to be seen by people from all over the world. If let's say Bulbul is going to be seen by people from all over the world. It's going to release in 190 countries. So I know that my audience is huge, and so I think I can, if you know that your audience is not limited, if you know that you're not only making your product just for a particular part of society, then you do feel free to experiment, not only as an actor but as a filmmaker too. I think it's just given us a lot of freedom and created a lot of opportunities for us. So I think it was grabbing attention even before the lockdown. People were moving towards web and were getting a lot of work and were enjoying its perks.
Thank you so much, Anvita and Tripti, for being with us. It was lovely chatting with you. All the very best for the film.
Thank you,
Thank
Rachita.
you.
Do watch it.